Hey guys, what's up? It is Thursday. Thankful Thursday. Come in the building. Say what's up to me. Come in the building. Say what's up to me. Okay, sorry. I'm feeling good today. Obviously, I am in the zone. So come on and see what your girl. I feel like these look like I got beads. I don't have beads in, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Come on in, y'all. Say, what's up? What's up? We're going to get this thing started. I'm sharing real quick to my other page. How are you guys doing? How's everything? How was your day? I hope that you got some type of what's the word I want to use? I hope you were productive if you need to be productive, and you rest if you needed to rest. Sometimes you need to rest, and that in your regimen in that moment, that's productive for you. It took me a long time to learn that one, so that's a free one for y'all. So if you're supposed to be rest, hope you're resting, and if you're supposed to be productive, I hope you were productive. Hey, Auntie Cynthia. And so I am just I'm excited. This is the day. I don't even think y'all understand what today is. Not only is today July 29th, I know that's the obvious, right? Not only is today Thankful Thursday, today is also the last day of my self-care series. And I really still feel like I didn't scratch the surface. That's the funny part about it. It's so much you can talk about. It's so much you can go into. And as we uncovered, it's so much deeper than what the surface is. So I hope you guys got something from this. I hope that you are getting something. I hope you're writing stuff down. I don't normally ask people to write things down, but I think it's good to write stuff down that will benefit you in the long term, right? And sometimes, like we said, I think when we started the series, we talked about why someone has to remind you to do self-care. And it's because we don't prioritize ourselves. And it's because we believe that that is optional. It's because we think that's a luxury. And so the whole goal is to shift our mindset to understand that not only is it not a luxury, not only is it not optional, but it really should be part of your regular regimen. Yeah, we're gonna knock it out the ballpark today. If you guys could share, if anybody's watching that you want to share on your page or tag somebody in there so they can come in and get into this conversation. I guess I want to get an announcement out of the way. Next month, August, I will not be live for the week of August. Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you guys now. I won't be live for the week of August 15th to the 21st. There will be videos that play because I'm prepared. So I guess I technically didn't have to tell you that, but you guys would have figured it out anyway. But I have some pretty exciting stuff that's going to be going on for August. And if you don't know already, August is my birthday month, and y'all know how I feel about birthdays. And so I have a lot going on, and I just won't be in town. So it's important for me to let you guys know that I got some really good stuff that's coming up for next month. So tune in. You don't tune out because I tuned out. I'm not really tuning out. I am just going to go and come back. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, so I just wanted today is the day where I want to finish up with this self-care series and bang it out the park. I've really been enjoying it. When you talk about something, even if you knew it, I think the cool part is that it is reminding you how important it is. Even though it's some things that I'm learning now and I'm prioritizing now, there are some things that can slip back out of your regimen, slip back out of your mind. And so I'm super grateful that I was able to kind of remind myself what was important. I am doing the most right now. Well, I'm just trying to do a recap real quick, guys, about what we've done so far. And I apologize because my notes are not right in front of me. That irritates me when my stuff is moved. And the funny part is I probably moved it. That's the funny part of all this, is that I'm fussing about something that was moved that I probably moved. Okay. That's okay. I'm gonna go from the memory. So I just want to recap. So again, let's start off with the idea that self-care is not selfish. Self-care is not a luxury. Self-care is not optional. Self-care needs to be put into your regular regimen, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. There's some things that should be done more often and some things that you can space out. I really do believe in a self-care. And the goal is to, after this series, be able to create your own self-care regimen if you haven't had one. I even thought about something like doing a self-care vision board. Even if you're not able to do more than one or two self-care things for yourself right now, start saying what you want to do more regularly. Like I used to say, I wanted to do at least one massage a month. That is a goal of mine. I have not done it yet. Still on my list. I do other things though. It doesn't have to all be physical like we talked about, but that's something I still aspire to. I believe it can be beneficial for me. So, it's good to have, I didn't used to believe in vision boards, but I absolutely understand now. And sometimes putting it in front of you will not only help you to do it, but it will manifest what you want to be done, right, in those moments. So let's see. So we talked about making sure that you prioritized your self-care. The second thing is we broke down the types of self-care. I think the first week we started with spiritual self-care, for your self-care for your spiritual self, and that included being a part of organized religion or volunteering at a religious place, or even if you don't want to do anything with organized religion, meditating or praying or getting quiet and getting, really getting to the depth of who you are. I thought that was the really good first thing that we went through, because you won't really believe that you're worth it until you understand who you are, until you can look in the mirror and really see you for real. And sometimes that takes a little bit more effort. It's not easy to see yourself. We think it is very easy and it's not, or to see yourself for real. So that's the first step, was to self-care for your spiritual self. I think the next thing we went into was emotional self-care for your emotional self. I thought that was necessary because we don't really get in touch with our emotions like we really should. We've been talking a lot about it, but to understand, to be true to your emotions, to not be slave to your emotion, but to respect them and to allow yourself to feel. That was like part of the self-care for that, and some other things too. Hey, if you guys didn't catch any of those, if you're missing any of that, please go back. Please go back and watch any of the videos, because I think all of them was important. I think the next one we did was psychological self-care. So like, for your mind, learning something new, doing learning a new skill, reading more, just to keep yourself sharp and keep this your thoughts fresh. So I thought that was good. Then we talked about sorry. I think we talked about we said we did spiritual, emotional, physical. Oh, physical. And the physical is what a lot of times we hear about already. We do, which is the spa days, which is the going and exercising, which is eating good. And all of those things are no less than the other stuff. I never said a spa day was wrong. I never said massage was wrong or getting your nails done was wrong. All I was saying is that it's much more than just that. Self-care is much more inclusive than that. So yes, those things are important too, because they also spill into other parts they help you with your mental and your emotional when you give yourself that. A lot of this is intertwined. So you take care of one side, it's usually 2 or 3-fold beneficial, right? And so, again, I think we did emotional, physical, spiritual, mental. Oh, and we did social. Social is also relational. But to be honest, we are, even though self care sounds like it's just about you, it does, we are relational beings. We are people that need other people. So it's important to maintain the social relationships that you have and to be true to them. And the way that I was saying that you should do that is to make sure that you are intentional, to make sure that you know quality is better than quantity, and to make sure that you're present. Those are the 3 main things that I said. It's a lot of other good stuff in there as well. So yeah, I think that was 5 things we went over. I think that's the 5. I think, yeah, those are the 5. So today I wanted to tap on the last one. And that is practical self-care. Hey, Mom. The last one is practical self-care. And I know you're thinking practical, Paris. What do you mean practical self-care? Well, I'm glad that you asked me. Practical self-care is basically doing those things that you have to do, but doing them in a timely way that keeps you from being stressed out, having a lot of anxiety, and causing other parts of your breakdown. If you are to do the things that you need to do in a better way and prioritize them in such a way that they are causing you self-care. I'll give you an example. Me flagging my emails at work so I can keep up with them is not something I'm required to do, but it is something that I do to make my job easier. I am not going to see every single email in. So when I get the email, I flag it immediately. And then I have a list of flagged emails, and I go through that list throughout the day. When I finish something on that list, I check it off. If it's like partially done, that means I touched it. And if I'm always done with it, I clear the flag off. And so once I look through that, the goal is by the end of the day, everything is cleared out that list. Doesn't always happen like that. However, I could imagine that if I didn't do that, I would miss so many things because I'm often pulled away from here to here, there to there, doing all these different things, multitasking. And if I wasn't to have that form of organization in my email, man, I don't know how I would do anything. And even then, things can go awry. Even then, I could miss something. But the chances of me doing that when I keep my system going, which is as soon as I get an email, before I even read it, flag it. Before I even read it. Because sometimes you'll read it and then forget to flag it. And then you're like, oh my God, I forgot about it. So that's something that's part of my regular life. But if I don't implement the system of organization at my job, I'm going to be more stressed out. I'm going to be running over the place. I'm going to have higher anxiety. What did I miss? What did I do? Oh, I didn't see that. You see what I'm saying here? So these are practical self-care rules that I'm going to give you as some tips that are going to help you take care of yourself for practical things. The things that you still have to do, but if you do it in a way that serves you, it is considered self-care. Bam, in that way, finish this out. I told you I was going to give you guys some stuff that you can use. Because sometimes, people like Paris, you talk all this self-care, but I still have to do this. I still have to do. Listen, we all still have the things that we have to do. And that's nothing wrong with that. But if you, this is not optional. This is something you need. You break down and your body, your mind, your spirit, any of those pieces break down prematurely, you're not really here anyway, and you're not living life to the best and the fullest. So I say you can't afford not to implement the self-care regimen. You can't afford not to implement these tools. So I think that if you change your mindset, you shift your perspective about this, you'll start to realize these are necessary. completely necessary. So, it's funny. The first thing I talked about was organizing your email box. So true. Like literally, that's like my number one go-to thing. Here's something else that it took me a while to kind of understand why it was so good. I think Oprah had a thing that she talked about. Hey JC, I think Oprah had something she talked about a while ago about your home being your sanctuary and your space reflecting how your head is. And I didn't used to understand that at first because I'm like, well, because you hear people say, oh, if you're a genius, you might have some things that's cluttered, or people are different ways. Some people are real sticklers. Some people are a little bit more free with the way that they organize things in their living space. But they say if you don't understand something, live a little bit longer, you'll understand it. I now completely and totally get that your immediate space around you, your personal space at home, your personal space, whether it's in your car, in your home, in your particular room, it does reflect how you are and how you are at peace in your mind and just how you process. It's not necessarily a bad or good thing. It just means that it's something you can work on. I'll get a little bit more about it. If you have a cluttered space, you might be cluttered up here. Does that make sense? If you have a space around you that's cluttered, it might reflect that you have so much going up here that you just cannot, you can't get it all together. Or vice versa. Your cluttered space around you can cause you to feel discombobulated. It can cause you to feel like you don't have peace. It can cause you to feel crowded. So I really believe this is important for you to manipulate your spaces. And that's something, again, I'm just be honest and tell myself, I did not understand the enormity of it until I was sitting down and trying to write one day. And I was frustrated because I had some papers all over the desk. To me, they made sense where they were at, but I really just couldn't get what I needed at the time. And I was frustrated. And I remember I stopped what I was doing and I just straightened it up the papers and threw away what I didn't need and just kind of stacked some things. And it was so funny because I told myself I had OCD or something, right? But I realized that I just needed my environment to be minimal. And so you will figure out what's important for you. Some people, like, for example, when I was in the dorm life in college, I did not decorate my room like that. I just didn't understand, put all those posters up in the pictures and all that other stuff. To me, it was all so extra. I'm like, listen, I'm here for school. I'm here for my necessary things. I'm not doing all that. And I think at the time for me, that was what made sense. But some people, the way they looked at it is, this is my home away from home. I need to feel comfortable here. And if I'm going to be here and this is going to be my home, my space, I need to make it customized and personal to me. And I understand that now. I didn't understand it then. I thought it was extra. See, that judgmental thing. But I get it now. I completely get it. Now, even though that might not be me still, I will say what I've learned about myself is I like minimal stuff, right? So for me, I like the clean slate look. Like, I like things to be like not a whole bunch of frilly things. I like things to be kind of sleek and minimalist. I think you guys know if you've seen the type, which is where it looks nice. It's just not a whole lot of furniture. If I have something there, it has a use. It's not just to be pretty. It's a use. I don't have a whole lot of things just to decorate. And that's just my style. Okay. I was just so interested because if you look at me, I got all types of little accessories on, but for me, it is something that's helpful for me to understand that about me. So that's why I know when I'm feeling crazy here is when, I need to stop and kind of get myself together. I never understood sometimes when I'm so like frustrated, I would stop and clean up. Even something that I'll even leave my room from doing something I need to do. It also might be me wanting a distraction. But either way, it would be so soothing for me to go wash the dishes, or it'd be so soothing for me to go downstairs and like straighten something up. And that was really helpful for me. So it's good for you to understand that part. And then it's a dual benefit. Not only am I getting a second to kind of, clear that connection, but I'm also doing something I needed to do anyway, right? So that's something that's super beneficial. Auntie Cynthia, you said multitasking at home can bring on an anxiety in a cluttered environment. You have to declutter and take self-care for a productive home environment. Absolutely. Auntie Cynthia, listen, that's something again. It took me a while to understand why. Not to say I didn't, keep my environment. I didn't understand the purpose of cleaning. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I didn't understand how it tied to my mental. And now I get it. And like you said, you don't, you're not going to be able to do everything you need to if your area is not clear and free. And that clutter can bring on more anxiety. So if we don't want anxiety, we want to make sure we want to take anxiety away. So yeah, you want to keep it clean and keep it clear. And my dad used to always tell me, if you're not using something, throw it away. And I know the more you move, oh my God, you just don't even know all the stuff that you have. That was something for me. I hate moving. And I always say, oh my God, where did I get all this stuff from? Like I never understood. But even not throwing things away when you need to and clearing things out, man, is such a problem thing. You can accumulate, and you want to make sure that you don't do that. So now I'm trying to get to a point where I just throw things away, just so I can keep it very minimal. For me, that's good. I don't want a whole lot of stuff on top of the counter. I don't want a whole bunch of stuff on top of the table. I don't want stuff sitting in chairs. I'm learning that about me. You have to learn what's good about you. It helps me out so much more. And when things are in certain places, so I can know where they're at. Okay, so I talked about that part. The work email, I talked about tidying up. Listen, and you guys put any ideas you have in here as well, because I told you it's a conversation. It's not just me talking. So if you guys have any other tips you think that are practical that can help, definitely put them in there and we'll talk about it. Here's one, meeting with a financial advisor. I love the idea of that, right? And I'll add something else, because everybody doesn't have the luxury of being able to meet with a financial advisor. But if not, reading some books on financial stuff, and tax things, business stuff, taking some courses. On YouTube is a plethora of information that is absolutely free. Google. It's so much information out here now that you don't even have to pay for. And they even have like certain courses like MIT. They a lot of universities did these free virtual courses. You don't get credit for them, but you get to take them and learn something for free that's invaluable. How amazing is it that you don't have to pay for something that you need to know, or something that's going to be beneficial to you? I believe that it's super awesome that you are responsible and are thoughtful about your financial life. We always know that finances are something that stresses us out. I think it's one of the leading things that breaks up marriages. And I think that I would say it's the leading stress causer, is money, because if you don't have it, it can cause a lot of problems. And sometimes you have it and don't know what to do with it, it also causes problems. So I think getting financially educated is a part of self-care, because if you do that, you minimize so many other of your problems. You are making your life better. I always tell people, I used to say, I don't mean this now, but I used to say all I wanted was to be able to pay my bills. And that was like a very modest thought process. I was like, I just want to be able to pay my bills comfortably and have some money left over. That's what I used to want. And so of course I want more than that now, but I think what I was saying is that I wanted financial security. I wanted to be able to not be stressed about where some money was coming from. So I think that that's a good practical self-care tip. Getting educated about your financial matters so that you are not as stressed as you could be, and actually take some money and do something that you like a vacation or a hobby, or treating yourself to something good. So I think that's important. Here's a couple other things I thought was good. And this is something that I promise you that I did not do before, and I didn't understand it. When you're at work, taking your lunch. I know that sounds real basic, but taking your lunch away from your desk and like actually taking it. And also, I'll combine that, not only taking your lunch, but taking your PTO. I think we talked about this the other day. It's super important that you take the time that you need so that you are not burnt out. This is the time that you're old and you're not a superhero, and you not taking your lunch. Guess what? I learned the hard way. Nobody cares. And guess what? The person that takes their lunch is not penalized. Listen, you could have fooled me. I thought I had to do it for a long time. And I started to realize that nobody cares. I just do more work. I don't get paid any extra. I mean, if I want to go ahead and try to put it as an overtime time, it's still not beneficial enough for my peace of mind, if that makes sense. It wasn't enough of a return on investment, right? It wasn't. So me doing all of that and then me just being wired up and not being able to take a moment for me, not beneficial. So take those lunches. Definitely take your PTO. That's part of your benefits package. You absolutely deserve that. You need that. It is self-care to take that time that belongs to you. And also and making sure that you are not feeling guilty about it either. Like, enjoy it. Like, it's necessary for you to have that time. And even in this yes, you said time to rejuvenate. It's so necessary. Like, I didn't understand, because I'm one of those people that sit at my desk while I eat lunch. I do. It's a really horrible habit, but I'm working on. And so now this summertime, I do. If I get a chance, I go out and walk, or I go out and just get some sun, some air. I'm learning to do that much more. But I was the person that sat at my desk all the time and never went out. So learning to do that. See, I told y'all we're going through this together. I know what my strengths are, my weaknesses. And so I'm trying to work on them. I have a plan. And so a little bit at a time, I might not, go out every day for lunch, but I'll say, hey, I'm going to be more intentional and take my lunch a couple times a week. It's a start, right? I'm not asking you to change overnight. I'm saying to understand how important these things are. And if you don't have a traditional job, a 9 to 5, if you're an entrepreneur, or even if you're just at home, it's important from whatever you do that you take a break, a scheduled break, just to step away, stretch, give yourself some time, give your brain some time to recalibrate. Sometimes you can't even think about something like you need to. Sometimes your brain is just stretched and you need to take a time and look at something different, close your eyes, stretch. I mean, like physically stretch, like, really crack. Oh, that just feels so good. That little crack in my back, that was helpful. I hadn't done it all day. I usually try to stretch, and it gives you just this feeling of just the tension coming out. It's so good and so necessary. So these are the more practical tips. I'm just giving you stuff. Here's something that doesn't seem like a practical tip. It might be more a professional tip, but I think it's practical too. Here's something. Take courses, attend conferences, or find a mentor if you're trying to get ahead in your professional life. Let me tell you why I say that. Because I remember when I first started in the workforce, I think I used to try to do what I needed to do, and that's it. And I remember when I had somebody who I think was trying to mentor me, they suggested, oh, you should take these classes. Oh, you should do that. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to do more stuff after hours on my own time, on my own dime. I didn't understand it. I was just like, why would I do that? Like, that don't seem fun. I don't want to do that. And I was like, I'm getting paid still to do what I'm doing. And I didn't get it at the time. At that time, I had somebody that was trying to mentor me and trying to take me to the next level, to the next stage. And they saw some deficiencies or some room for improvement. The things I was doing was good already. They saw my foundation was good, but they saw where I could grow. And although it was not enough to say you're not good, you're not doing good here, they're like, hey, you're stuck. You're gonna be stuck if you don't move, if you don't grow. If you don't, you're getting satisfied with what you're at, where you're at, and you're not gonna be satisfied here in 10 years. So I'm trying to get you to build your own skill level. I'm trying to have you become a subject matter expert. So, hey, go ahead and do some conferences. Hey, go ahead and do some courses to add some additional skills. No, it's not required, but it's necessary if you want to grow here. And I really couldn't even receive it. I think I was just a little too young. I think I had a lot going on. I really didn't understand it. But now I look back at it and say, oh, that's what he was trying to do. That's what he was trying to do. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't really receive it well. I wasn't like, I wasn't combative or anything. I just didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't go sign up for the class. I didn't sign up for the class. I didn't go through with it. I looked into it. I didn't follow through with it because I didn't see a benefit at the time. And so now I understand if you have a professional or a career goal, or even if you're an entrepreneur and you want your business to go to the next level, invest in a mentor, invest in taking a course to grow yourself, get an additional skill, invest in some help in any type of way. Go to a conference to learn more. Do whatever you need to do. If it's important to you, you will invest it in it. You would invest your time and energy and sometimes money into it. So that's another practical self-care tip, because sometimes we get so down now, like, oh man, I'm stuck in this job. I don't have anywhere else to go. I feel so just, in a prison here. I feel like it's a ceiling above my head. And oftentimes I told somebody before, like, if we think this is the glass ceiling over our head, sometimes we're holding the glass ceiling here. We can go past it, but we're not doing anything to go past it. You're not doing anything to go past the ceiling that you're holding above your own head. Isn't that crazy? There's a ceiling above your head, but sometimes, not all the times, there's sometimes if there are people that are actively trying to move past it, and that's a real ceiling there. I'm not taking away from that. Y'all know I know what that is. Okay? Look, I'm a minority and I'm a woman in a corporate America. We already know what it is. That ceiling's real. However, there are 10 times where I could have went further if I did not limit myself. There are a lot of times we have self-limiting thoughts that keep us from being the best version of us possible. We don't think we can do it. We think it's too much. We don't think that we are comfortable. And we're literally, somebody says, hey, do this. And, oh, that's too hard. And it's like, did you even try it yet? Or did you convince yourself it's too hard before you tried and therefore you did not try? And usually it's the latter. And so reprogramming yourself, deprogramming this idea that you are stuck is really going to be a really big self-care tip. Going for it, trying it. If you want something bigger, taking the steps, the practical steps. It's good to say, oh, I want to advance in this company. That's great. Oh, I want my business to grow, this much more. And that's wonderful. But what are you doing? What practical steps are you taking to get you to that next level? So self-care even can take it can even embrace some things that you have to do, or some things that you should do to get you where you want to be. Like I said, sometimes the stress that we have is anxiety is about the future. And if you don't take actionable steps, measurable, actionable steps, you're going to be feeling like that all the time. So I hope that that makes sense. I hope that you guys could see, those examples. Oh, here's another one I don't necessarily do, but I know that it's pretty cool. Meal prep. Now, I'm sorry. Let me take it back. I thought when I said that I was thinking about buying meal prep from somebody, but no, but meal prep, the process in the meal prep is so super awesome. I love it because I feel like meal prepping sets me up for success. If I know I'm trying to eat a certain way, if I know I'm trying to be as efficient as possible, if I know I don't want to purchase food outside of the home for what's it called? Financial reasons, or if I know I don't want to purchase food outside the home for health reasons, and I want to minimize that, absolutely making sure that I prepare my meals in advance and have them with me, man. So such an important part of self-care, such an important part. And it's just those little things that you do that will set you up for success. It makes your life so much better. When I did that, I felt like, oh, I just had it together. I used to tell people one of the most put together times in my life is when I used to go to the gym in the morning, get up at 3 something in the morning, go to the gym at 4, have worked out, and was ready for the world by 6 a.m. I'm getting back to that. Working from home, different, but it's not bad. I'm just saying it just took me off of my schedule. But absolutely, that was the most productive because I felt like I had this out the way, knock that out the way. On Sundays, I would do my meal prep and I'll have my food ready for work and I'll go to work, I'll work out, I'll listen to my Audible book or whatever. I would get some books in. I would have a plan for the day. And I was super efficient. And so it makes your life easier when you have things planned out. Organization is definitely one of the biggest practical self-care tips I think that I can actually say. I think all this stuff I'm saying is a piece of organization, but in different ways. I hope y'all seeing that. Like I'm hoping that you are taking these things and really being able to break down how they can apply to you and how they're important. Hey Tracy girl. And so let me see. I got one more I think I wanted to share with you. I hope you guys are enjoying that. Like, let me know in the comments what you're thinking. Even if you're watching the replay, still let me know. I go back and read it. So it's super important for me to know that this stuff is hitting you guys and it's beneficial to you. I find it beneficial. The more I'm learning about it, it's making me really good because I'm tightening up my self-care regimen as we are talking, right? Some stuff that I knew about, but just making sure that I'm definitely keeping up with it. I think it was one last one, which was making sure that you are super intentional and limiting your technology time, limiting how much time you're on social media. It's like an amazing tool, and I do business on mine as well. But I also have to be careful because you can get caught up scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and now you spent 2 or 3 hours when you meant to spend 2 or 3 minutes. And you feel crazy because like, where did those? I could have been doing this, and it's like a distraction. It can ultimately switch from a resource to a distraction really quickly. So I've learned to try to be tight with it. I'm still working on that. Listen, that's a work in progress for me, but I'm trying to limit my time. My phone is so funny. I have this. It's so annoying. It says you did this much of screen time this week, and it's an increase from last week. And I'm like, thank you. Nobody asked you, phone. Nobody asked you, but I appreciate it because it's keeping me accountable. And I'm gonna I also found out that you can limit your screen time. Like you can say, okay, during this time, I'm not gonna be able to get on to my social media. I haven't quite done that yet because I'm not that disciplined. Because I'm like, I could just turn it back on. but I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. It's so important because I've found myself tired, exhausted, but I want to scroll and check my Facebook, check my, Instagram before I go to sleep. Let me make sure nobody tried to send me a message, check my text messages. Now I'm up for another hour when I just said I was exhausting, like my eyes were burning. I mean, how crazy is that? It's a slippery slope. We have to be super careful about. That is self-care, big time. And I guess I could even throw sleep in there. Sleep is a huge, huge self-care flex. I talked about it, I think, for physical, but I'm telling you guys, the getting enough sleep, I'm telling you, it is absolutely imperative to your success when you understand that your body heals when you sleep. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that when your cells do a lot of healing when they don't have to do other things. So like your digestion takes up 80% of your, energy. So when you're eating, your body doesn't really have a chance to do anything else with that energy. So when you're at night asleep, you're in a fasted state, it can do all the healings, the natural regeneration, the fixing itself, the things it needs to do, is doing it at night when you're in an unconscious state. And so it's so important in more than one ways to get the sleep that you need. Yeah, and naps are good too, Tracy. Oh my God, remind me and remind us, naps are super awesome. We need them. I did not think naps were that important until I got to this age, maybe about 5 years ago. I'm like, naps are great. Why did I fight naps? Naps are amazing. Why did I not get naps? Naps are awesome. So even if you can't get your whole 8 or 7 hours, whatever they say, get you a couple naps in so that you can pull it in. Yeah, understood. You said great topic on self-care, inspired me to be more active during COVID. Yes, I love that, Auntie Cynthia. I'm so glad that you're able to take these tips because listen, let's be honest. We were all in quarantine and I think just in survival mode and just trying to get through it. And as we should, right? Some people didn't make it through. But now, even with using wisdom, being able to still take care of yourself. I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. And so to shift from surviving to thriving, we need to do self-care and make it part of our regimen. But it's really awesome that you are letting me know that this has been inspiring you. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I think we're almost done. That was all I had. I really love this. The last part of it, I was just going to say, is self-care regimen. I say it all the time, self-care routine. It does not take a lot of time. It does not take a lot of energy. It does not take a lot of money to be beneficial. Literally, just go ahead and start doing something. Oh, Tracy, you said an hour and a half is beneficial for a nap. You know what? I'm glad you gave a time limit because sometimes I be trying to do 30-minute naps and that is a no-go because I wake up more tired. But you're right, about an hour and a half. Okay. Y'all hear that, right? And she works in the health care field. So you want to listen to Tracy. Yes, an hour and a half at minimum. That's good for a good nap. That's good because man, I'm telling you, I'll be trying to do these 30-minute naps. They don't work all the time. It really don't. Sometimes even an hour don't even hit it. Hour and a half, that's a sweet spot. Because I was going to say 2 hours, but hour and a half is a sweet spot. So we're going to definitely keep up, and I'm going to make sure I do more of those when I can. I squeeze them in whenever I can now. It's so beneficial. And sometimes even when you're not tired, like if you're just mentally clogged, a nap will help too. I know sometimes you feel lazy when you do it, but no, don't feel lazy. It is something that's needed to kind of get you past a point. If you can take it and you have the luxury to take it, I think you should. But yeah, so like I said, establishing a self-care routine, self-care regimen does not take a whole lot of time. It does not take a whole lot of money to be beneficial. It's necessary. If the word self-care bothers you, then call it self-maintenance. If you have a car that's worth anything, if you don't do the maintenance in your car, will your car be any good for any length of time? No, you're going to run that car into the ground. You are even more important than the car. You're much more multifaceted in the car. You have more parts, moving parts. So if you would do your maintenance on a car, how dare you not do maintenance on yourself? You got to look at self-care as maintenance. Remember I told you look at it as maintenance and so investment in yourself How can you expect people to sow into you or think you're good ground if you don't think you're good ground? If you don't think you're a good friend, why do I think you're a good friend? If you don't think that you're a good person, a good, a good business person, why would I think you're a good business person? I'm just saying. You have to believe it first. I tell people I'm a pretty great person. I'm not perfect, but I think I'm pretty good. Pretty great. I think I'm a good friend. Now, my actions have to match that, but I first have to believe it first. If I don't believe it, I won't even try to match my actions. Does this make sense? And we talked about manifesting things. It's all about the mind. It starts there. So you are an investment worth making in yourself. If you want anybody else to invest in, you got to invest in you first. Okay? You make the first investment. Same thing with maintenance. You do maintenance, regular maintenance in your car, you're so much more important. It's so much more multifaceted than a car. You need to do regular maintenance on yourself. And self-care is regular maintenance. So what I want you guys to walk away today with is the idea that you will take a journal or a piece of paper or a poster board. If you want to do a vision board for it, I don't care. But you will go and you will intentionally take a few minutes and write down these areas. I think the areas are spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, social or relational. And I think the last one I did is practical. Those are the 6 areas of self-care that there are. I want you to take 1 to 2 things minimally from each of these areas and write them down on a list that you want to implement in your life. If you're already doing it, put it down there. If you want to do it, put it down there. If you do it sometimes but not regularly, put it down there. And then I want you also, once you write that down, I want you to write down the frequency that you desire. For example, I now get my nails done every 3 weeks. That is my thing for me. It can go every 4 weeks, but that's something I do for me. It is something I keep up, and that's part of my self-care regimen. Another thing, I try to write things down more and journal. I was trying to journal once a day, didn't quite get there, but that's my goal. I want to get back to journaling once a day. When I was doing it, it felt good. It was wonderful. I loved it. So that's something I'm going back to. Just like I told you before, working out in the morning, first thing in the morning, I'm getting back to that. That was my sweet spot. I love that. I feel good when I did that. Those are the type of things that are beneficial to me and I aspire to do. So whether you're doing it already, whether you aspire to do it, whether you do it inconsistently, but you want to do it more often, write them down and paste them somewhere. Put them somewhere you can see it so that you can be reminded that this is important. Just like you have your to-do list, man, put you up a cork board and or a whiteboard where you start to remind yourself that, hey, this is important. This is just as important as taking the trash out. This is just as important as meeting up with a business partner. This is just as important as starting this book. All of it's important. All of it's important. If you don't take care of you, you're going to break down and you're going to be the only person responsible for it. Remember, we have to be self-advocates to ourselves. We have to be advocates for ourselves first before we can be advocates for anybody else. It is dishonorable to your creator for you to advocate for anybody else without advocating for yourself. It is dishonorable. I need to shame you guys into understanding and believing that, not for condemnation purposes, but for the purposes for you to get it in your head that you have to advocate for yourself. You stop waiting for somebody to send you a coupon for a massage. Stop waiting for somebody to take you out to eat. Stop waiting for somebody to throw you a party. I mean, that stuff is wonderful and nice. Wonderful, right? Our social part. Oh, I think I did say social and relational. Our social part is wonderful. But these things that you need to do for you, you have to do them. And then people will step in because once you start to take yourself seriously, they will too. You won't have to have conversations about who you are because your presence will stand up in the room without you. Now that's a whole, you have to tell my church kid, that's a whole sermon. When you are so settled in your identity, you can leave a room, or even before you get to your room, your presence is still standing there. The attention, because you're solid in your identity. Y'all don't get me worked up because I don't know where that even came from. That's real talk. Y'all better hear me. That's real. But anyway, anyway, sorry, I'll be getting all fired up. Tracy, you said sometimes you have to dig a little deep to get regular self-care, but embrace your personal journey. And tracking is good to keep you regular. That is so true. And like I said, listen, don't sit here. I'm not going to tell y'all a fib. I don't practice everything I just said. I am very aware. Some of the stuff are things that I know I should be doing. I'm just not quite there yet. But I do have some things I do regularly. I do have some things I do infrequently, but I have a routine, and I have some things that these are my on my to-do list, and I don't beat myself up about it. I understand that they're not optional, and I make time for them, and that's what you guys just have to do. It's not optional. Stop. It's not a luxury. It's literally part of your routine. It's your maintenance. And you said tracking is good to keep you regular. Absolutely. That's why I said write it down, journal, be able to be accountable to yourself. It's something I've thought about, maybe even having a self-care accountability partner or a group. Let me tell you something. Within my friend circle, you can ask them. I always ask them, when's the last time you did something nice for yourself? When the last time you got a massage? When the last time you took a break from kids? When the last time you had a girls' weekend? When the last time you went out to eat for yourself? When the last time you went out of town? When the last time you just did this, took a walk? I always encourage them to do something for themselves, because guess what? You might forget. You might get to the point where you don't remember that this is necessary. So I'm going to be here to keep you accountable. And I want you to keep me accountable too. My friends will tell me, hey, girl, take a break. Go do this. Yeah, I know you're doing all that, but come over here. And that's what you do when you care about people. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope you got something from this. I really enjoyed this topic. I'm really, really grateful that we got a chance to really dig into it, dig our heels into it. You see, it's so much that you could talk about. So I just want you guys to get a self-care regimen. Maybe tell me some of the things that you decided to put in your self-care regimen in the comments, please. I would love to read them. I do go back and read everything. So, yeah, I'm just excited to hear what you guys came up with. I might actually do a whole post about that. Share some things that you do in your self-care regimen that definitely make you the person you are, or things that you aspire to put in your self-care regimen. But put them in the comments for now until I make that post, because I know I'm gonna do it. But thanks, guys, for rocking with me. As always, I love you guys. Don't you forget that you are enough. You are enough to make the investment in yourself, which is self-care. You are enough to do the maintenance, to make sure that you are taking care of the highest commodity there is, which is you. Yeah, you are. You are a high commodity. There's no price tag for you. Now, don't get me to start preaching here. There's no price tag for how amazing and valuable you are. So take care of you. You know how to do it the best. People can try, but you got to keep that thing off. You got to set the pace for that. Okay. So this has been amazing. Thanks, guys, for coming with it. And share this. Please share with somebody. You have no idea how many people that don't know where to start with self-care. So I'm hoping this conversation, this series, has definitely helped people know where to start at. Yes, this is part of mental health. Yes, this is part of wellness and wholeness, because if you don't take care of you, I mean, where can you go from there if you're not investing in maintaining yourself? All right, guys. Love you all. I'm so excited for what's next. Told you guys August is going to be super amazing. The next time I see you, it'll be on the other side of August. That's my favorite month. It's my birthday month. It's going to be amazing. The topics we're going to have are awesome. So I just love you all, and I will check in with you later. Bye. Toodles.